Meeple Nation Podcast, episode 579. Narrative choice or paragraph games?
Welcome, citizens, to Meeple Nation. Grab your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, warm up those dice, and join us at the game table as we discuss board games and the board gaming world. Each week, the hosts of Meeple Nation share their love for board games and the amazing memories that come from playing games with some very outstanding people. Let us now join our hosts in their natural habitat, the game table.
All right, before we get too far, Doug, why don't you tell us about us?
Well, we are Meeple Nation, and we are sponsored by GameToppersLLC.com. And if we could spin some of these cameras around, we would show you how incredible this very table is right here. Military-grade aluminum, fantastic product. You can put it on top of any surface, and it converts it into an epic gaming adventure landscape, shall we say.
Or a pirate landscape.
Oh, yeah, sure. You name it, because you can throw any number of amazing mats onto those game toppers. They have a variety of sizes and tons of different art options to go in all of their toppers, and a whole plethora of cool little goodies and bonuses that you can, or little accessories, dice towers, all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah. Or you can do what we've done and
convert one into a whole like recording studio.
Yeah, it's a studio table too.
There's something mounted to almost every square inch of this thing.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cables everywhere.
But go check them out at GameToppersLLC.com. You will not be disappointed that you did.
So we are the hosts of Meeple Nation. I'm Nathan Howard.
I'm Andy Holliday.
And I'm Douglas Stewart.
With our powers? With our powers
is.
combined, we are the world's most okayest podcast, as I just demonstrated. We have a website that is also okayest. On that webpage, you can find links to our past episodes. You can find a link to our sidecast, Salt Pod, which we just recorded a few minutes ago. You can also find bios. You can email us at meeplenation@gmail.com. We always love to hear about new games, new exciting things that are out there, and we enjoy some fun back and forth. High-spirited. Haters, go elsewhere. I don't know why I even said that, because we never get any haters. All of our listeners are great.
That's true.
Yeah.
There's no haters in the nation.
There's no haters in the nation. We're a nation of gaming love.
This is getting weird.
Yeah. Yep, that's when you know you need to reel me back in and say,
What time is it, Nathan?
back on target.
Not time for that yet.
Not time for
We're
that
close.
yet. We're close, yes. We do love our patrons. Our patrons make everything possible. If you would like to become a patron, jump on over to our website. You can find a link there for our Patreon page, and our patrons have made all this happen, and caused me a lot of sleepless nights as I'm trying to put this together. But things are getting better. We've released 2 video episodes now, and things aren't taking a week and a half for me to do.
So please continue to disrupt Nathan's sleep by joining our Patreon.
Yes. Yeah. And then you can always join us on all of our socials. Our Discord seems to be picking up, and you can chime in on our Thursday night game night. And actually, it's even streaming. This episode is live streaming, and if you wanted to tune in, you could watch us there. No one's tuned in, but that's just because I just barely announced it. So since we're not talking live, done.
Nice.
Okay, now it's time, Andy.
What time is it, Nathan? I think it's
Time to move on.
I think it's past
Time to move on.
I think we passed highlight 30.
Yeah.
But let's just reel back to highlight 30. What have you been playing, Nathan?
You know, I've been playing a lot of Welcome to the Moon.
Oh, really?
And I really like this. Corey and I started playing a game, and I've we taught it at Hug a Meeple Con, and I was a little rusty with my teaching. I can play it, but I was a little rusty on my teaching, and so I've been playing some games with Corey, and I've been playing some games with my wife, and I was able to defeat her for the first time, which was kind of was nice. It didn't take me nearly as long to become a champion of Patchwork, although I'm still not a champion. I'm still kind of I lose Patchwork far more than I win. But Welcome to the Moon is a great opportunity to play that Welcome to theme in a different format. And actually, as you play through it, there are several options on how you play Welcome to the Moon, and scenarios they call them. So you're either launching your rocket, you're exploring in space, and it's some big fun. And I have really liked Welcome to the Moon.
I like that game. It's a great game.
Yeah.
What about you, Doug?
Well, the other night we sat down and played Clans of Caledonia. So that was pretty cool.
I really like that game, especially the end.
Yeah, it looked fun.
Yeah, the end was fun.
Do you like the end because it was over?
No, because...
Did you win?
Isn't that one that I won? No, that was
Richie.
something.
No, Richie won.
Never mind.
We played with
I
Richie,
don't
so
like
of course
this game.
Richie won.
No, yeah. Stinking Richie. Why do we invite
the
him?
gameplay on this one I think is interesting. The actions I think are fairly slick. We were at a full 4-player count, and I felt like turns went fairly quickly around the table. Minus a few times when it got over to Brad, but and Richie. I mean, there was a little bit of that, but it was fairly snappy. I do like the way that you build out the board. I like the economy of it. Like your money is a really, you spend a lot of your time managing that money or trying to gain more or setting yourself up for the next round. I like the manipulation of the markets and the decisions about okay, what am I going to put out there on the board that is, going to produce for me during the production phase, and how am I going to use that in the next phase, and how am I going to complete orders and all that. I felt like all that was really good. This game falls into a category of game for me personally. Now I fully full recognition that this is a Doug issue and not, I think, a player at large issue. But sometimes a game disconnects the gameplay, like the stuff you are doing at the table, and the points you earn a little too much for me. And
so not necessarily a point salad, but more of...
well, you're doing all these things, but definitely not all of those things are equating to points.
Okay.
They are not. You learn how to play the game. You understand the actions. You understand, okay, I need to make money in order to do these things, and I'm expanding on the map, and I'm doing all this. And then you get to the end, and it's like, oh, some of that stuff got me a few points, and some of it didn't. And actually, I probably should have done a whole bunch of different things and been paying more attention to this and this. And you kind of realize that the whole way the whole time you were playing this game, that's actually pretty fun, and you're doing all these things, that it's like, yeah, a lot of that really was meaningless. It's like some of that meant nothing to the final score. And I am not at all saying that is a bad thing, because I think there's a lot of games that do that, and I think a lot of players enjoy kind of the challenge of trying to get those things to mesh together, that handshake, so to speak, between the things I'm doing and the points I'm earning, and because it's a puzzle. You have to kind of solve a little bit of a background puzzle to make that work for you. Some people really like that. Some people are very good at it. That's actually, Richie's very good at that. He excels at games like that and does very well.
So does that guy.
Yeah, and he's pretty good at that too. So
that's why I'm not playing it with him.
Yeah.
Wow. Already. I thought you said there were no haters in the nation.
I'm not hating. I'm
feeling it a little bit.
I'm just.
I didn't say there weren't any haters leading the nation.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sorry, you were saying.
No, so this one is a tough one for me because I really enjoyed the game itself, but didn't really enjoy how it scored, and that disconnect was kind of a breaker for me, personally.
Well, it was your first game too, and so
so true.
Like you said, there was some things that you're like, okay, this isn't necessarily making a lot of sense, and what is scoring points and what isn't scoring points. And so after you score, you've experienced it once, you do have that opportunity to say, okay, what do I need to do that's a little bit different? What do I need to do that is...
Yeah, the opportunity for sure. Is it an opportunity that's fun and one that I want to have though? And I think that's kind of where the disconnect is for me because, and it's why I preface this by saying this is a Doug problem because I actually don't find that puzzle of trying to piece like that background puzzle you have to play, trying to associate what I'm doing, the actions I'm taking, all this stuff with the points, you know. And I'm not saying it needs to have like a direct correlation, right? I do this, I get these points. You know, it doesn't need to do that either. But there's kind of I don't even really know how better to describe it than just like background puzzle. That's really what it is. Because the things that you're doing are not going to equate to points unless you sort of maneuver things in the right way. And like for me, that just isn't like a fun thing to do. For me personally. Again, that's why I totally preface that by saying it's a Doug issue. There's a lot of people who love that process. And I think find it highly enjoyable. This one is one I probably would be willing to play it one more time just to see. But beyond that, I don't know if this is a game for me.
So do you want to try it on BGA? Because it does have a BGA implementation. Or do we get it to the table with Andy?
Well, you have invited me to a game on BGA. We are in a game on BGA. So
how are we doing?
Well, we just picked our clans.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah, we can see how it goes.
I got like 110 games going. So
Oh my gosh.
We can try it. I'm willing to try it. I don't know. This is one that's probably not going to be a lasting game for me.
Okay.
So.
Andy, what do you think? Are you excited now?
Yeah, I think it sounds great.
I think you'll actually really like this, and I'm going back to my statement that I won't want to play it again with you afterwards.
Just watching you guys play it
It's
looks
like
great.
From the Moon, only in Scotland.
Ooh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah. No, I think it is kind of a lot like that. There's a lot of the nuance that you're going to find in there that kind of scratches that same itch that you find.
It's finding the patterns, and for me, it's finding, okay, if I do this, this, and this, then I'm going to be able to do this and this and this, which is, yeah, and kind of what,
Okay.
it's that background puzzle, I guess, that Doug's talking
No.
about. Right?
I actually like that. That I like. It's then how all of that you just described is going to translate into points because it doesn't just translate into points.
Interesting. I am interested to try it.
Yeah.
I really am. So we'll see how it goes.
He probably will really like it.
I think
My
he'll
guess is Andy will really like it.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think he will. I mean, you, Dave, Richie, all have that pretty analytic mind. You have a pretty mind.
Thank you. I like the fingers. That's great.
The jazz hands.
Yeah. I like
Everybody can see those now.
I like when you describe my brain like that. It's great.
Pretty.
I don't think it's an improvement for people to be able to see it.
All right. Andy, what have you been playing?
All right. So last Friday was a very sparse night at game night. It ended up just being me and my girls.
I tried to come.
I know. We were in the middle of Dark Tower at that point, so we busted out Dark Tower and returned to Dark Tower, and I played it again last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we've played it twice in the same weekend. We did the Covenant expansion last night, and then we did the Alliances expansion on Friday.
Nice.
And
Playing them back to the back, which one do you like better?
It was tough, but honestly,
Because you can't play them both at the same time.
No, you can't. And, well, we lost playing the Covenant expansion.
Okay.
And we destroyed playing the Alliance expansion.
Yes, yeah.
Like, absolutely destroyed.
I would say that's fairly consistent.
Is it?
The Alliance expansion, it does have some ways to make it a little harder.
It does.
You can start like with a little bit more of a handicap. But if you can overcome that threshold as you're building your guilds,
Yes.
you just accelerate. It like launches you to the moon. It's crazy.
Well, not only that, we went with the Titan, which is always more
really
difficult.
hard. Yeah.
And he never stayed on the board long enough to do anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's great. Nice.
And we never fought him. Like I used the Relic Hunter, and I just was getting potions like crazy. And because I had my realm was the Arcane, I can't remember the name of the guild now, but anyway, it was all about getting potions. Like I was handicapped with potions at the beginning, but I got leveled up fairly quickly, and then I was gaining potions like crazy. And I upgraded to the Virtue that is, if you discard 4 potions, you just remove a foe from the board.
Oh, nice.
From your space. So I was using potions to move him into my space, and then discarding 4 potions to just get him off the board. So he never activated, not one time.
So I actually think there is a distinction between foes and the adversary.
There is.
Does it work for that?
The Titan is a foe.
Oh, okay.
He's the high level foe. He's the level 4 foe. And then the adversary,
Interesting.
we were playing the Gaze.
Do you have any fees or fies?
Oh, got you. Okay.
Not in that game. Sorry.
No fees,
yeah.
no fies,
No,
just foes.
Just foes.
Just foes.
But
No fums
and the
either?
gaze
There
is,
was some fums.
the gaze
Okay.
is one of the harder adversaries too, and we destroyed it in that game. We did so well.
That's amazing.
And then we were so close. We probably would have won like in 2 turns on yesterday when we played the Covenant expansion. We were so close, but we were getting corruptions like crazy, and Amara got her 3rd corruption, and that's how we lost.
Oh, okay. So who did you played with? Your girls again?
Yep, I played with my girls on Sunday. It was my girls and then my brother. We he didn't want to play, but he had a ball. He's like, I really like co-op games. Once we got
good.
done playing it, so they had a good time.
Yeah. Excellent.
But yeah,
Well,
and
that's-
then one other bit of news:
Oh, okay.
I finally received my copy of Zombicide: White Death.
Ooh.
After seeing it in the stores for like 2 or 3 months, I'm like, why don't I have my copy?
Because Simon?
Because Simon sucks. But yes,
Well, they fixed that problem now.
I finally have my copy.
Well, no, the CMON issue's been fixed.
Yeah. Well, like they've been tanked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just focusing on fulfilling their own stuff and not doing anything new.
They won't last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll launch new stuff soon. You
Yeah.
watch. They
Hopefully.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I express a lot of frustration with CMON, and I try not to back their stuff, but they do some pretty good stuff.
They
will.
do.
Well, they make Zombicide and they make Cthulhu Death May Die stuff. So
Yeah.
Yep.
they have a stranglehold on my wallet, and I hate that.
I hate that. Well, excellent. That was some great highlights.
Was it still me?
Great episode, everybody. Nicely
it.
done.
I guess it is.
Until
me still.
next time.
Sorry. Here we go. So the narrative choice or paragraph games mechanic puts a strong emphasis on storytelling and player agency through making decisions that directly influence the narrative progression. Instead of relying solely on traditional game mechanics like dice rolling or resource management to drive the plot, these games present players with textual descriptions, scenarios, and choices that lead to different outcomes and further narrative branches. So think of it like choose your own adventure, like a choose your own adventure book integrated into a board game experience. Players often read paragraphs of text that describe a situation, and then they are presented with a set of decisions or choices that they must make. And then each choice will direct them to a different paragraph within that same narrative or a different section, unfolding the story in a unique way that's based on their decisions. So, how does here's how the mechanic typically works. So there's a narrative presentation. The game presents a story elements through text, often in the form of cards, books, or even app-based interfaces.
Which I think probably is my favorite.
I would agree with you there. And then these descriptions are set in a scene, and they'll introduce characters and present challenges. Then there will be choice points. At key moments in the narrative, players are given distinct options on how to proceed. And these choices can range from dialogue options and actions to strategic decisions that have narrative consequences. And then there's the branching narrative. Each choice leads to a different part of the story, and this might involve reading a specific paragraph number, drawing a particular card, or triggering a new event within the application itself. The narrative unfolds non-linearly based on the collective decisions of the players. There are consequences to your decisions. These choices the players make often have consequences that affect the ongoing narrative, and this could involve changes in characters' relationships, the availability of future options, the acquisition of items, or even the overall outcome of the game. Emergent storytelling, while the core narrative is pre-written, the combination of players' choices leads to a unique, emergent story of each playthrough. Different groups of players, or even the same group of players playing again, will likely experience a narrative in a different sequence and have different outcomes and have a different overall experience, which ultimately increases the replayability of those games.
Yeah, makes it a game that you keep instead of just a one time and then you call it.
For sure. Yeah,
Because I call games, Andy. You don't, but I do.
that sounded really mean. Oh,
Good.
You're right.
Yeah. No.
But really great narrative-driven games fall into that category, right? Where I can play this multiple times and I get a different experience every time, and it's fulfilling every time, and it's a ton of fun, and it's new and fresh.
Yeah.
I love games that are well done that have this narrative paragraph driven, story driven element to them.
Yeah. I love that too. I think it's, I talked early that I said I love the app driven ones, which I do. But I really enjoy when we read the narratives too. Because we have had some great times with those narratives.
That is true.
And the voices that we come up, and for some reason mine always turns into some phony French accent
or
Cajun
or a hick of some kind.
Something.
A French hick.
I don't have a wide scope in my voices, but I have fun with them.
Yes, and I think that's one of those where with the right group, it can be more fun than having even really good voice actors, because you're adding your own twist and you're making it your own. Yeah, I would agree with you there. Some of our funnest moments have been where we're doing voices and kind of adding flavor.
Yeah.
Just with the voices or accents or whatever it is that we're doing when we're reading the narrations.
Or what was the one game that had the app with the stork?
Oh, yeah, that was Forgotten Waters.
Forgotten Waters.
Yes.
That was...
The voice acting in that is so good.
That was really good.
That that's one of those where it's just great to listen to and you hope that it's going to be something hilarious, because sometimes, especially if you get to taunt in that game, always taunt.
Always taunt.
Yes.
Yeah. What are some narrative and
Paragraph.
Thank you. Narrative and paragraph games.
Words are fun.
that you guys want to discuss.
So I want to make mention of a couple here really quick, because you guys were gushing a little bit about the ones that kind of present you with some quick story and let you make a decision. I think my favorite, and I totally understand that this is getting away a little bit from what you might assume is narrative or paragraph. I actually really like it when these decisions are presented in picture format, in art, right? It's still a narrative, and it's still something's happening, but you have to make a decision based on that art. Now, Scythe, I think, is probably the best example of this. Those event cards that come up in the middle of the game, they have a piece of artwork on it, and then they just give you options. And the options are like the options that they give you paired with the piece of art tells the story.
Interesting. It's been a long time.
There's no words. There's no,
you just have the picture and
it's
choices.
just the picture and choices.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, might be like a woman walking some cows, and it's being, and then
There's
a big mech right by it, right? And the options are like, do you steal the woman's cows? Do you offer the woman aid to, or do you purchase the cows? Do you slaughter the cows and give them to the people? They'll have these options, and you're like, oh, okay, this is actually pretty cool, because the narrative options that it gives you match with the artwork, and it totally tells a story. It tells an awesome story, actually, but doesn't require any reading. It's all visual.
That's cool.
And another game that does this, I think, particularly well is Chronicles of Drunagor. Now you guys haven't played this. This is a dungeon crawl. It's a fantastic dungeon crawl. But as you're moving through, it's the one that uses the game trays and has all the 3D terrain. We've talked about it before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do remember talking about that.
So it has an adventure book in there, and you'll hit a node. Like if you go to a spot like one of the early ones, like first mission or two, is you're moving through this office space, or it's like a dungeon. It's like the office in a dungeon kind of thing, and it's got like a desk. And there's a bunch of stuff out on top of it. There's a locked drawer. There's a chest off to the side, that kind of thing. Now you're kind of running from the darkness. You don't have time to just sit and explore everything. You can't just grab all the loot and unlock everything and explore everything there is. But it's like, it gives you like 7 or 8 options, right? They're just numbered. It's just a picture there, and they're just numbered. And it's like, what are you going to do?
Interesting.
What do you want to choose?
That's cool.
You're going to take the axe? You're going to take the bow? You're going to try to pick the lock? You're going to grab the papers? What are you going to do? And each one of those has a different outcome, a different result, and honestly can have pretty, really some of them, not all of them, but some of them have actually a pretty big impact on how you move through the dungeon, right?
Interesting.
You get to a waterfall, and it's like, well, there's a gem inside and a lever off to the, on the wall. You got one choice. What are you going to do?
Long lever, Kronk.
Yeah, you're gonna reach for that gem, or you're gonna pull that lever, and no dialogue. And that's what I really like about it. So that's kind of the point I'm making is I actually really like this narrative thing when it's just art. It's just presented visually and lets you make a choice.
Really have made me want to play Scythe again, and I totally forgot the name of this one that you said.
Yeah, Chronicles of Drunagor.
And that sounds awesome.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really want to try that one.
Yeah, you'll both really like it. It's just I don't want to start playing it until we're kind of committed to trying to get through
Playing it?
Yeah, so maybe like in a post Stars of Icarios world where maybe
Except for you just got new Stars of Icarios content.
most of it augments.
Okay.
So it doesn't add a lot of content. It just makes some of the content better.
Nice.
Okay.
It's kind of like Andy makes the podcast better.
Oh.
I agree.
He doesn't really add anything. He just makes it better.
Wow. Well, I'm just going to sit here and look pretty, guys. Pretty. Wow. Well, we can't talk about narrative-driven games without talking about the first one that came to my mind, which was Above and Below. This is a Ryan Lochte
Sure
game.
glad you didn't say the one that was at the top of all these lists. But carry on.
Okay. Yeah, Above and Below. So when I think of a narrative game, right? This was one of the first ones that came to my mind because I've had a ton of fun with this. I've played this with my kids. We've played it with a bunch of different people. It's very accessible.
It is.
And it's one that a lot of people enjoy going into the caves and exploring and just making those decisions. And sometimes you have a lot of lanterns and you think, okay, this is going to be an awesome decision. And it turns out to be not great.
Yeah.
It's rare that happens. I know that's one of the reasons why my cousin Richie doesn't like the game is because he thinks it should always be good. Like, oh, I had all these lanterns and I picked this and I should just get everything amazing. And that's not how it works.
But you accidentally started a fire because you had too many lanterns.
That's right. Something like that, right? So, and I think it's great because you're not guaranteed to always have the best outcome if you have the most lanterns. It's highly likely.
Yeah.
But it's not always the case. So it does make that decision maybe a little more difficult to make. Like, okay, I could do this, but I might lose reputation, even though I might get some money or I might get some items or something like that, but I could lose rep or there could be a downside to it. Anyway, it's a great game. I love this game. It's one that I just got some extra content for actually. So I'm excited to
really?
Yeah.
What did you
It was some
get?
promo content and,
okay.
Like a little mini expansion that I got for it. So I got them off of Game Steward.
Nice.
They were back ordered for forever. So I finally got them this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm excited to try it out.
So Above and Below, Near and Far are both really good games that I really need to... These would be perfect games to get my wife to play some sort of a campaign style game because the content flows really well. It's a nice cooperative story. I think both of these games would be great. And I kept them. I tried to cull them. And she actually brought that up as, this looks like a fun one. You shouldn't cull this one. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't. I should get this to the table with you. And I really need to do that.
Yeah, you should. It's great.
Yeah, I think that is one that...
Both of those are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Above and Below didn't hit with me quite as much, but I really liked Near and Far.
Yeah, Near and Far was awesome.
Yeah, really liked that one.
Yeah,
Quite
my
a bit.
daughter and I went through... Ashley and I went through Near and Far completely, and that was great.
So we've been playing Aeon Trespass Odyssey recently, and we have had a ton of fun with this too. So it is a kind of a boss battler game, but you're also exploring. There's a lot of exploration, choosing what you're going to do at those locations, and then you are presented with choices which have in-game effects. So there are, for an example, there are 3 different factions in the game that you're trying to maybe build alliances with. It's impossible to build alliances with all 3 because when you're in ancient Greece, if you decide to befriend the Minoans, you're going to tick off the other 2 factions, right? So it's this constant battle of trying to balance the politics and the diplomacy between the other different nations. And you do gain benefits if you are friendly to certain nations, and you have penalties if you're unfriendly towards you, or worse, right? They're downright at war with you. Anyway, And a lot of the decisions that are made through this are going to affect that. Also, some of your decisions will affect what you're fighting, the boss that you're going to be fighting, and also you're gaining titans. So the story behind this game is the primordials have attacked the earth, and the titans, they are kind of almost catatonic. And you as the Argonauts, you have awakened on the Argo, and we have found out how to control the Titans. So essentially, the Titans become our avatars, and we control these Titans
which is good because they're gonna die.
Exactly right.
Controlled by you.
Controlled by you, and we have lost Titans every single time we've played.
Yeah.
And so, but as you go through the game, and depending on where you choose to go and what you choose to do at those different locations, you can unlock new Titans that are actually more powerful than just the base Titans that you start the game with, that have different powers and different abilities, and which makes the game more interesting. And honestly, you kind of need those more powerful Titans as you move on to the more and more powerful bosses. And when you defeat a boss, they're not defeated; they level up. So now the next time you fight it, it's going to be harder to defeat. So there's just a lot going on in that game, a lot of decisions to be made, and a lot of cool narration and story. So we've had a ton of fun, and this is one that we've tried to get one game a month played, because it's just the stereotypical campaign game, right? You play once and then you don't play for 6 months. So we're trying to be better at trying to get this game played, and it has been a ton of fun.
Oh, good. Good. So looking at my list, one game that stuck out right off was Star Wars Outer Rim.
Yeah, I really like this game.
Yeah,
I do
and
too.
this is one that, I mean, I got that expansion for it. I can't remember what the expansion is.
Star Wars Outer
Unfinished
Rim,
Business.
the expansion.
The expansion. Star Wars, the expansion. Unfinished Business.
Yeah.
This, I was really excited to get this, and then never incorporated it and played it. That we need to fix.
Yeah, same. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
We played the original when it came out quite a few times.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And then it kind of sat on the shelf for a little while. That expansion hit, and I was like, oh, this will revitalize it, but we just never got to it. And I'd really like to do that.
Yeah, totally need to do that again. And now that we both have an interest in it, and it's and you have your drive to pull games off your shelf of shame, and so do I.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with
No,
that.
I believe you that you have that drive.
You do?
You just have.
I do have the drive.
You have more drive to acquire new stuff.
Acquisition's far more important.
And so the acquisition is faster than the play.
That's true.
And that leads to,
It's a growing spectrum.
you know what? You do you, Nathan. You do you.
The drive is there. The drive is there.
Sure.
But yeah, no. Star Wars Outer Rim. I liked this because it was very similar to the Firefly, the board game kind of mechanics, where it was storytelling and story resolution, and it scratched that itch. And it was Star Wars, and it was well done. I really thought it was well done.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have the rebels that are trying to track you down, the Imperials that are trying to track you down, it's not the Bounty Hunter Guild, but the Independent Guild that's trying to track you down. So you have to make sure that you're maintaining all those balances, some elevated difficulty as opposed to just trying to avoid the Alliance and Firefly. But this game was really good, and it is one that we need to get to the table.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm going to put a fire. Nope, I'm going to be editing podcasts. So
So it's going to be up to one
I'll
of us.
see what I can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
See what I can do.
That's what you're getting at.
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Well, and as I understand it, one of the things that are, if I'm remembering correctly, the expansion adds. So you know how the system kind of goes in an arc, right?
Yeah.
So this actually adds a way
It was
to
great
fast
that we
travel.
did that in unison, by the way. Ooh.
So the expansion adds like an ability to travel from like the one side to the other side.
Oh, so you don't have to go
You
all
don't
the
have to
way
go
through
all
it.
the way
nice.
back. Yeah.
Okay. That is nice. Yeah.
Yep. I don't think it's
Wormhole
just a simple little thing. Like there is like kind of a price to pay sort of deal, but it's travel around. I think they improved a little bit. As I recall, they made some improvements to the game that I was quite excited about because the original game, as good as it was, it had a few things that were clunky, and I think this smoothed some edges over. So
Excellent.
still didn't get the Mandalorian though, so they got to have another expansion in the works because
Yeah.
we
Hopefully
got to get Mando in there.
Yeah, it would be like a no-brainer, I would think. But
I would think so too.
he would have made a better cover art than Dengar.
Yes,
Definitely more recognizable.
for sure. Yep.
One that I wanted to talk about. So this is one that I particularly really enjoyed, and it has received some criticism for being overly narrative, overly heavy on the text and paragraph stuff. This is My Father's Work, and
I agree with that.
no, it's a criticism that I do understand. Having played this through with my son, he was super into it until all of a sudden he was not. And he was like, okay, really? More reading? Really?
Yeah.
I thought
It does have an
I thought
app
it was
now,
good.
doesn't
Yeah, it
it?
has an app, and it'll read it to you and handle all that. And I think it's fine. I mean, and I guess where I'm coming from with that is like, there's less reading in some of the dungeon crawls and stuff we play
Yeah.
for sure. So I think people are complaining a little too much. Now that said, I do think that it's a little word heavy for what the game is. The actual gameplay is really cool, and I like the premise of it. Right, you're inheriting your father's work, these scientific crazy experimentation or experiments, and you play over 3 generations, and all you get to leave to the next generation is the stuff that's sort of recorded in the journal. You don't get to pass everything on. You don't get to pass your resources and everything. It's from generation to generation. You're passing on all the stuff that you were able to acquire, to accomplish in that, the knowledge of what you were able to accomplish in that first generation. And then it's a new generation that comes in and you do that 3 times. It's the linking story that got really long. It was the story between the generations that was like, okay, this is a little heavy-handed here, folks.
Yeah.
I got it. I got it. I'm going to go complete my father's work. I don't need, 10 pages of, and it's not 10 pages, but
Right.
It starts to feel a little bit long, especially
10
when you
paragraphs,
go,
probably.
especially when you go through it for the 3rd time, right?
Yeah.
Which I do understand. It's still a game that I think is worth playing. I really like it. The components on it are really cool. The actual play, like when you're sitting down playing the game, I think it's fantastic. But perhaps an abridged version would be appropriate. I don't know.
Is this the one I kept calling you on the phone to wake you up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, though, it was
that
not.
was pre-app. That was
Yes.
Yeah.
The app,
the
the app was not
in
done.
Beta.
It was in beta.
That was when you accidentally closed the app
Yes,
and ended
I
the game.
did.
That's right.
Nathan
And it
closed
was
it.
an accident. It totally was an accident.
Right.
But I was so happy that it happened. Accident, yeah. Don't hurt yourself on that wink. But yeah, I was, because I went to back because we wanted to back up to see or I went too far and I went to back it up.
It didn't have a save feature built
Yeah.
in. Basically, the beta didn't have it. So if you went back or you messed it up, it was like you couldn't just go back into where you had
Yeah.
taken off. It was done.
You were starting all the way over.
Yeah, and poor Dennis was so disappointed.
Dennis was just like,
and
well, I guess we're done.
I was
Nathan.
smiling on the inside.
Nate was smiling and he was fuming. It
Yeah,
was funny.
no, it was. I feel bad,
But also, when did we start? We started that at like 10 o'clock at night. It was stupid.
yeah,
It was so late to start a game like that. Anyway, I still think My Father's Work is great, and I think if you enjoy the narrative aspect of a game, I definitely think it's one worth playing.
I wouldn't mind trying it.
yeah, and I think we definitely enjoy narrative games. I mean,
I do
actually look at our list. We don't have a ton of them.
But the
in
ones that
our
are on there are
campaign-
highly rated.
Yeah.
and we like them.
Yeah, in our campaign games, a lot of those campaign games are not. They don't fall in this category because it's not necessarily so much of a choice. But
Well, I think a lot of them are. You think of Stars of Icarios. Like,
Yeah.
that's narrative, and there's definitely choices that are
Yep.
that are going to direct you a certain way that it's leading you to options you wouldn't have otherwise. So there's that branching story arc, and yeah, I think it would totally fall into this category.
see, but a lot of. I mean, did Stars make your list? Was it on your list according to BGG?
No, it did not.
Yeah, because falls under that campaign style game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
And-
I still think it.
And I think
It
because a
qualifies.
lot of these are they're shorter sections
Yeah.
of story.
It's
where, like-
it's narrative blocks that
Yeah.
get sort of,
Well-
it's like, okay, you're playing along, and then it's like,
We
boom.
say that, but like I'm looking at Folklore: The Affliction. That's campaign game.
Yeah.
You know, and it was on my list on BGG. So I think
Yeah.
it's just whatever
Yeah.
they classified it as on BGG.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be very similar to Stars of Ikarios as far as the options you have and the narration.
Are you guys seriously suggesting that the BGG ranking system, classification
No,
system,
no, 'cause
it has flaws? How dare you?
Dare you? It's just run by people.
I mean, really, like, I think pretty much anyone can go in and edit
Yeah.
some of this stuff. It's like,
Almost wiki based, yeah.
yeah, yep.
And so that's what we just need to do is go through and update that. It's this mechanic in that. But
Good luck with that. I barely have time to play games anymore. I'm not spending my time doing that.
Yeah. But we do have to mention, I mean, Gloomhaven, Frosthaven are on this list. Games like that, Secrets of the Lost Tomb, Secrets of the Lost Station, all have that kind of all have that narrative drive of I'm going to make a choice. That choice is going to have repercussions down the street or down the way or down the galaxy, depending on which game you're playing. But one that was on my list that we started, we got one game in, and for me, anyways, you've finished it. I'm just gonna tell the title here. The
Are you?
Clank Acquisitions.
Oh, Clank Legacy Acquisitions
Yeah.
Incorporated.
Yeah.
that you
I
Doug, you
was the one
played the
that
whole
finished it.
thing,
Yeah, and it was so
Andy,
good.
you
Yeah,
ended
so good.
yours, and I started one, and then we got a new copy. Started it again. We got one game in.
And when I'm ready to play again,
I'm in.
I am too.
You just got to schedule it
Yep.
because it's great. And even though I've played through it once, I'm totally jazzed to
Yeah.
play it again.
Me too.
So
Oh, you know what's not on this list too, Andy? Seafall.
I think this is limited to games that don't suck.
Seafall is an amazing.
here we
game.
go. Here we go.
Yeah.
You two just want to throw down. Do we just want to settle this once and for all?
Yeah. Seafall sucks. It's
I'll
settled.
I'll move one of the cameras over. We'll set up a little arena. You two can just throw down and solve
Cage
this once and
match.
for all.
Two go in, one comes out.
With Seafall in
Sick
the
and
middle.
Tired of you guys going back and forth over Seafall.
With Seafall and with Wingspan in the middle.
Seafall is exceptionally better than Wingspan.
Oh, okay. I wanted to stay neutral till you said that. It is so not.
Oh, it so
anywhere
is.
close.
Not even
Wingspan is
So
so
much
much better
better.
than Seafall. Oh,
Wow,
Nate,
Nathan.
come on. That's blasphemous.
It is.
You know better.
Yeah, it's a great story-driven game. Wingspan is
Is it story driven? It doesn't feel story driven at all.
it's totally story.
So another one that was on my list was, and it is. So again, it's one of those campaign games, right? Like that we're kind of talking about. So I think these lines get a little blurred. But ISS Vanguard.
Oh, this is one I
And
really want to try.
That's when I started. I stopped so that we could play it together eventually. I'm hoping that happens. If it doesn't soon, I might have to just jump back into it. I'm really hoping we can find time to play this. It's so good. But the way that it interjects story, I think, is awesome. Right? You have the exploration phase where you're managing your squad and you're out on the planet and you're doing these things, and it interjects those little, like, there's story moments that aren't overwrought but that are definitely important. When you hit certain thresholds, it's like, okay, what are you going to do? What choices are you going to make? But it's fairly, straightforward and doesn't bog down in the narrative, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
There's a lot of complexity there for sure, which is what I think what makes it fun, but the narrative doesn't like bog the game down necessarily. And then you get to the ship management phase, and again, you're just given like a lot of it's just decisions. Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? We're going to upgrade this. We're going to work on this technology, but it also interjects some of those story moments, right? Like right now we've got these 3 different things going on. Are you going to go and help your fellow passengers, or are you going to spend your time preparing an away mission to go deal with this threat on a planet, or whatever the case may be? There's these little narrative moments that it makes you sort of make decisions on, and those impact the rest of the game. And I think it does a great job that way. This is one you both, I think, really like.
Yeah,
So.
I'm sure we will. So, just a couple more that are on my list that actually I haven't played, but I wanted to touch on because I really want to, and I think both you guys will like this one too. At least this first one. This is Bureau of Investigations in Arkham and elsewhere.
Yeah, we've talked about this one before.
Yes.
I'm very interested in this.
Yeah, I need to get this off the shelf. It's a 1 to 8 players, but should it?
No.
I don't know. But take a trip into the U.S. in the 1920s and tear the veil, concealing the unspeakable threats from elsewhere. And this is, we've talked that not necessarily Cthulhu, Lovecraft, eat everything up, but there's some good stuff there.
There is. There really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to get this. I've had this game for a while.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
Yeah, and it really needs. Well, when it came out in 2022, so 3 years that we've had this game. Need to get it to the table. Yeah, it's kind of in that Sherlock Holmes consulting detective system.
Yeah.
But with a Cthulhu theme, which is awesome.
For sure.
Could be.
Could be, yeah. I
That
guess
sounds
could
awesome.
Piques my
be.
interest.
It's appealing.
I hope that it will be.
Yeah, it's appealing for sure.
Definitely.
And the other one that actually kind of has some lackluster reviews, but I really want to try it, is Lost Ones. So Lost Ones is it's a choose your own path story utilizing map tile exploration, but each player takes 1 to 3 actions during your turn, and it's all about you're trying to now I'm totally botching on the theme. I can't remember it, but you're trying
Sounds
to.
amazing. Lost
It sounds amazing. Yeah, I've lost my train of thought in it. But you have to explore the magical realm of dreams and nightmares to hopefully discover a way home while the remaining Fae hunt you down. And so it has the theme of it appeals to me.
Yeah, the reviews are not being
Lackluster.
amazing. They're not horrible, but
Yeah.
not amazing reviews. But it does sound like something that might be worth checking out.
Yeah, I still want to try it for sure.
Yeah.
But that's Lost Ones. And that's kind of the last one that's on my list that I wanted to hit on.
Interesting. I had quite a few more on my list, but we definitely won't talk about them. There was like Too Many Bones and Tainted Grail, Sleeping Gods, The Witcher, Vagrant Song, and Waste Nights, Tamashi, Chronicle of Ascend.
Tamashi's one I really want to try too.
Yeah, and all of those I think have some merit when we, they have their place as we talk about this particular mechanism. But the one that I'd probably end on is just, did you guys play Time Stories?
Yes.
I've never played Time Stories. It looks
Okay.
good though.
And
Yeah.
you didn't, and you did.
Yeah.
So this may be, and maybe this is kind of telling you the type of game that I like. I 100% understand everyone's criticism of this, right? You're going through, you're playing the time, like you're time travelers. You play through the timeline, you hit a point where it's like you failed. Okay, you didn't do it, and you're not going to do it. There's no way you're going to
Be successful.
the first way through, right? The whole point is you're playing through to learn the right choices, to explore all the little avenues and things, and then you're going to go back and you're going to take the most efficient path through all the stuff you've already done, and then keep exploring from there, right?
And not waste your time dancing with the plunger.
Correct. Yes, that 100%. That was a moment for us too in the first one, the Asylum. one. Yeah. So I loved the idea of Time Stories, and the first couple of these scenarios, these stories that we played through, they were awesome. The Asylum I thought was great.
The Asylum was
And then,
really good.
Yeah, and then we played the Marcy case right after that,
Yep.
which was kind of the zombie one, the zombie apocalypse. I thoroughly enjoyed that one too, and I thought it was great. By the time we hit like the third story on these, it finally kind of clicked for me, and I was like, okay, I get it. I get what we're doing here, and I understand, and I could kind of start seeing where people were frustrated, because it is kind of like, okay,
The rinse
I
and repeat.
don't necessarily want to go back and pick the most efficient path through, right? And if they had integrated some sort of quick
Reset.
load, right? Because it's not necessarily a save point, because the decisions you make affect resources and the state of the game in various ways. So if they had come up with some sort of way of like, okay, did you make this key choice, this key choice, this key choice? Okay, just start here.
Yeah.
And go from there. I think the game would have really benefited from that, because it was an amazing idea, an amazing storyline. But it's like, it's kind of like, you know, the movie like Groundhog Day. I love the movie Groundhog Day, right? They don't make you watch his whole day every single time. He lives through that day, but they just hit like the highlights, you know, every time. And it's like the
how many
progression,
times does he
right?
kill himself?
100%. And so like this kind of needed to do that a little bit, right? We needed to get to the next fun part, the next reveal, the next interesting thing, without having to replay through all of the old stuff. But I love time stories, and we played through, I think I've played through 3 or 4 of them, and I have, I don't know, 3 or 4 more that I haven't played through. And at this point, I think time stories has just kind of fallen off. I don't think anybody really talks about it or cares about it anymore.
Yeah.
And I would still love to go back and play those missions.
Yeah, I ended up culling all of mine, but if you still have yours, I would totally come back and revisit it with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
Fixing your mic over there.
I would too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is one that maybe we should just revisit.
Because you can do it, and it's a one-off. It's not like it's a campaign thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And the experience in time stories is unique, and each case is great. And I mean, I had a ton of the cases. I just sold it and packed it all off in the same group. So
Yeah. I don't think so I believe it came with, I think there were 9 cases you could play, maybe, give or take. Might have been 10. I'm not sure. I don't think that all of them were great. From what I understand, I like for the actual story, not this mechanism we're talking about, but the actual campaign, the story that was told. I don't think all of them were amazing, but the ones that hit really hit.
yeah, the Asylum was phenomenal.
Yeah, it really was. That one was really good. Actually, and I don't know, maybe it was just the group and the way it all came together for us, but I thought the Marcy case was phenomenal too. I think that was my favorite one. So, very
Nice. Well, I have a few others I just want to briefly touch on too, that are on my list. We talked about Forgotten Waters. That one's a favorite.
Yeah.
Every
very
time we
good.
play that, it's such a great game. Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim, the adventure game. This is one where it is very much driven by choice, because you choose what you're going to do, you pass or fail based on that choice, and you will gain specific cards because of that, right? And that card will lead to a new mission and something else, where another location you have to go to and another test you have to make, which all eventually is going to lead you to completing the mission in the first act and then the second act and so on. But in that case, yes, your decisions will matter mostly for character development. As far as the story itself, it kind of leads you to the same place. But as far as what you're going to unlock and everything else with your character, it does matter. And then obviously the overall flavor, it matters for the story itself. There is Sea of Legends. You're going around the Caribbean. You're trying to master or go on basically quests to unlock the abilities of your lover, and of your nemesis. And you're also trying to chase down rumors and upgrade your ship, get new crew members, upgraded crew members, and fighting the third-party faction that's in the game, and while you're trying to gain as much gold as you can. So there's a lot going on with that.
Sea of Legends is like one of the few like semi-cooperative games that I really like. It's the type of semi-cooperative that I like, because it's not a cooperative game, but you definitely kind of have to coordinate and work together a little bit to deal with the main threat.
Right,
You
for
do.
sure.
You just do, or everyone will lose.
Correct. Yeah, it's a fun game. There's a lot going on to it, or a lot going on in that game. A game that has light narration but does have choices that can affect the game not very heavily is Abomination, the Era of Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some events that will come up that a certain player will have to choose, or when a certain player goes to a location that event pertains to, that's secret until a player goes there, that event will trigger. And oftentimes, if it's Frankenstein's monster that is at that location, or if it is the main constable that's at that location, you're going to be presented quite often, not always, but quite often with a choice, and that choice will affect certain aspects of the game. It's not super heavy as far as narration goes in that game, but it is present there. Oil Town and Role Player Adventures.
Role Player Adventures.
Yeah. Yep. Another one that we started back in the day and really fell to the wayside
Yeah.
because I like that one.
Yeah, we had a lot of ambition for it to do a lot of plan to take some of those characters into some sort of RPG campaign.
Yeah.
Campaign.
Yeah, that never happened, but I still would think it would be fun to do that.
Yeah,
It's a pipe dream at this point, but yes, it
Yep.
would be fun.
All right, looking at this list of highly rated games that we may have missed, that we haven't had the opportunity. Robinson Crusoe, have you played that one?
Yeah, I have.
You have played that one?
It's excellent, actually.
Yeah, that's
Very good. That's one that
Mike owns.
Mike. Yep, we played it with Mike, and it's very good. And he has the Deluxeified everything, whatever
Yeah.
edition of it, and it's I actually really like it. It's very difficult, but really fun.
I've
and
heard that.
I actually did like the narrative aspects of it. We haven't played it for long enough that I don't remember a lot about that, but I remember it being really great. It was really good.
Kingdom Death Monster is one that I'm not familiar with. That looks kind of cool.
It's a huge dungeon crawl style game that just has content in it that I'm not interested in. But
And Maracaibo, we missed talking about Maracaibo. That's a great game. This War of Mine,
how is Maracaibo narrative?
just on some of the cards when you're making your choice, you have some of the, I don't know. It's on the list.
Okay. No, I'm not questioning whether it is. I don't remember it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking is the cards on the.
Okay.
Is it the cards?
There are definitely cards in the game.
There are definitely cards in the game.
It might be some of the extra content that we haven't gotten into,
Maybe.
because there's a lot of like extra stuff that we haven't done in Maracaibo that we haven't
Yeah.
explored. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole deck of cards that you can add into it that we haven't gotten into.
Maybe that's it.
So it's on the list, but don't know why. This War of Mine, a lot of people have a lot of love for that game.
Yeah.
The Witcher, the old world, you just got that too, didn't you?
Wow, you had to bring that up, huh?
Wow. Yeah, this is definitely one I've had for a while, and definitely one that I have taught here at game night. But
Here?
apparently everybody
Yeah,
forgets.
yeah, we played it.
Did I play it?
No,
No.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
You didn't, but Andy did.
I did. I just forgot.
And then
that
he
I had-
forgot that he had played it.
Oh.
But yeah,
Oh, that's when we talked
Yeah.
in the podcast that you missed, and
Yeah.
you were mad at us. For
I was
all
listening. I
sorts
was
of
listening to it, and I was
discrepancy.
like,
he's yelling at
I was
the-
yelling at it. I was out there working in the gardens, and I was like, I taught you this game. What are you talking about? Anyway,
Oh, and here's your Legacy of Dragonholt.
Oh yeah, yeah. That one's very narrative. That's almost straight narrative driven. Yeah.
Aftermath, and yeah, and Ultri. I have no idea what Ultri is.
actually, I have heard Ultra is very good.
It's got a 7.5. Looks kind of 60 minutes.
Yep, I've heard good things about that one. I don't know much about it, but I have heard good things.
Cooperative game players are brave rangers who assist the people of Satrapi. Yep, always read new words online.
Easy
That's
for you to
great.
say.
Yep, but the people of Satrapi. If it's the people of Sapat. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, okay.
I'm done.
Don't
Old
hurt
Trey.
yourself over there.
It sounds good. We'll check it out. We'll report back later.
But yeah, that's all the ones that I want to hit on. So
Sounds good. Well, that has been a fun conversation about narrative and paragraph driven games. Until next time.
we'll see you, not at Ultra, but we'll see you choosing your own adventure and finding the destination that may lead you to Ultra. I'm hoping so. I don't know.
Maybe.
At the game table?
At
I
the
don't
game
know.
table.
Okay.
Thank you for listening and being a part of Meeple Nation. If you would be so kind as to follow, subscribe, share, and rate or review this podcast, it really helps to spread the fun. You can be more involved in supporting the podcast by joining the nation at patreon.com/Meeple Nation, or you can find a link at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. And while you're there, look at all our extra content. There are links to all our past episodes, a wide variety of blogs, pictures from our Instagram feed, and bios for all the hosts and our awesome bloggers. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all under Meeple Nation. If you would like to chat with the hosts or other members of the nation, you can join our Facebook group, Meeple Nation Off Air. We hope to see you again at a game night, a con, or maybe a suspense-driven evening of werewolf. Thank you for listening and supporting Meeple Nation, and stay tuned for next week's episode.
Thank you so much for listening. We very much want to thank our patrons who help keep the podcast running. I personally want to thank my co-hosts for all the help they provide with both content here on the podcast, in addition to what we have available on our website. Without them, the podcast would not happen. If you too would like to support the podcast, you can join the nation at patreon.com/Meeple_Nation, or you can find a link to Patreon at the top of our webpage, meeplenation.com. If you have any questions, comments, or games you feel should be on our radar, you can always reach us at meeplenation@gmail.com. We can't wait to hear from you. I am grateful to Doug and Andy who helped me edit episodes, and I want to thank James and Kim Clark who do the editing on our blogs and on our webpage, which can be found at meeplenation.com. We want to thank Brain Detergent for our music. If you want to find more from him, you can follow his links that can be found on our webpage, or simply search for Brain Detergent on YouTube to find more of his tracks. Thank you again for listening and being part of the Meeple Nation community.